So to find the zeros, I need to find two numbers that multiply to get 7 and add to 8. Now I'm worried you might do this, because that does multiply to get 7, but when you add it, you get -6. So those are not the answers. So I'm going to do the quadratic formula. I'll make this smaller, sorry about that. So 8 squared, oops, stinker. 8 plus or minus the square root of 8 squared minus 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a. Focus on the radical. Negative times a negative is a positive. When I add this, I get 92. 3 to 46, 223. So the radical ends up being 2 rad 23. So the one that has 2 rad 23 is this. But just to make sure, let me make 100% sure, because we know I make mistakes. If I divide by 2, 4, 1, and that lends itself to C. Number 13 is the sum of cubes. Little parenthesis, big parenthesis. Square the first guy, square the last guy, put them together. And that lends itself to letter B. Okay, find the discriminant. The discriminant is what's inside the radical when we're doing the quadratic formula. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go b squared minus 4 times a times c, and I get 81 minus a big number, which means I know the answer is going to be negative, which means if the answer is negative, that means I'm going to have imaginary solutions. So I've just got to figure out what it is. 16, 224. So 224 minus 81 is 143. So it's B. Let's go to number 17. Number 17 is similar to number 13 because this is the sum of cubes. This is the difference of cubes. What times what times what is 8? What times what times what is 27? What times what is x cubed, or x to the 6th? So now I know little parenthesis, big parenthesis. Square the first guy. Square the last guy. Take these, put them together, multiply by 2. And let's see, 2 minus 3x squared. We know that's not it. 4 plus 6. There we go. A. All right, let's move over to number 18 because I have space. Square root, square root. That's 4x minus 3y, 4x plus 3y. Okay, and that lends itself to D. Let's move up to 16. This is where I can either do long division or synthetic. I am definitely going to do synthetic. So I set this equal to 0, and then I do the leading coefficients, 1, 6, 1, negative 8. Remember, the first thing you do is bring down the 1. This times this, plus this. This times this, plus this. This times this, plus this. So this is my remainder. So this has the remainder, but let me make sure the numbers match. Negative 7, 4, and 1. The answer is C. When I look at this one, I go, okay, could this be factor by grouping? It's not. So I'm going to have to do the PQ method. And that's when I do PQ, and I go 1, 5, 7, and 3. The great thing is I have answers here because I know either negative 1's going to work or negative 3 is going to work. So I'll try negative 1 first. Bring down the first guy. This times this plus this. This times this plus this. This times this. Cool. Negative 1 works, which means one of the factors is x plus 1. So that one's out. Now, when I look at this, this is the same as x squared plus 4x plus 3. Because I had 3 of them, I took out one of them, I have 2 left. 2 numbers that multiply. So now I know that I have 2x plus 1's and 1x plus 3, which lends itself to A. Number 12 is factor by grouping, but if I want to do the PQ, I can play the same game. But I'm going to do factor by grouping. They both have an x squared. I'm left with x minus 3. Since this is plus minus, this is plus minus. Take out a 4, x minus 3. Here's the match. X squared plus 4. I can't keep going on x squared plus 4 because that's the sum of squares and there's nothing that says that. And the answer is A. Before I finish this, I want to point out that you can kind of cheat a little on a lot of these. On number 13, 12, 14, 17, and 18. If you don't know what the answers are, you could multiply this and see if it equals that. You could multiply that, see if it equals that. That's definitely a pain if you don't know what to do. Multiply this, see if you get that. Multiply that, see if you get that. Multiply that, see if you get that. And there are some hints. If you look at letter D for this one, if I was to zoom in, I know quickly that it's not letter D because 3 times 2 gives me 6, and the last number is 12. So that couldn't be it. 1 times 4 is 4. The last number is 12. That couldn't be it. 3 times 2 is 6, but then I had a times 2, which is 12. So it could be B, and we know it's A. So use those types of techniques to help you.